Welcome to Collecting Chaos and the Eternal Mylite project. You might remember these from Monday. One of them is going to be my pick, but we'll get to that towards the end of the video. I have a few comics for you today to show you and that are part of my collection, and I'm going to do some cleaning on this one. And if that's what you want to see, you probably shouldn't go anywhere. So let's get started with the comics. First up, we have Purgatory #1, the Dracula Gambit #1. And this is from August of 1997, Chaos Comics. And here's another copy of it with a different cover. Here's Predator Big Game #1. It's a 4-issue miniseries, of which I think I only have 3. Each one came with a card, but my #2 doesn't seem to have the cards in it. It never did have the cards in it, and I bought it new. I don't know if the store I got it from took the cards out or what, but this one was supposed to have cards in it and never did. I'm thinking a printing error. Since I was there when he opened the box, he would have had to have taken the cards out on the way home. But yeah, this one doesn't have cards in it. And here's Predator Big Game #3 of the 4-issue miniseries, and like I said, it has cards in it. I'll see if I have a second copy of #2. I might put these up for auction, I haven't decided yet. Predator, The Bloody Sands of Time #1. Never got #2 of this. Here's another copy of Purgatory, the Dracula Gambit. This is like a sketchbook, and how they went ahead and how they made it, I guess. Kind of like the making of Purgatory, the Dracula Gambit. And then I have Purgatory #2. Don't know where #1 is. I used to have it. Purgatory #3. Purgatory #4. And Purgatory #5. Here's Poison Elves #6. I used to have a really nice run of Poison Elves. Lost them in a flood. And I really enjoyed this. Might put these up for auction too, since I no longer have the run. Here's Poison Elves #38. Might have to use that one for my thumbnail. Stick that off to the side. Poison Elves #39. And the artwork pretty much looks the same in every one of these, because Drew Hayes did the whole thing. Poison Elves #40. Poison Elves #41. Poison Elves #42. Poison Elves #43. And Poison Elves number 44. Oh no, this is Poison Elves Color Special. Oops, don't want to show that page. Yeah, showed it anyway. Yeah, I'll try to remember to edit it out. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to show you for comics today. Be back in a little bit and to start the cleaning process. Well, it's about 3 or 4 hours later. Went out and cut my grass, took a shower, cleaned my up a little bit. Now let's get started cleaning this up some. I think I'm just going to start with white eraser and see what we can do about cleaning up some of this white on the front cover. And that's what we'll start out with. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And just going over it real light. Let's see if I got my little shield somewhere here. These little eraser shields come in handy for all kinds of things, mostly for erasing. And all I'm doing is getting off a little bit of surface dirt. You might not even notice it at first. Let's get out my other one. I know I've got it somewhere. I got a bunch of adventure comics in today. They're in pretty bad shape. I'll be repairing some of them. Might have to do that on video on a couple of them. Okay. I guess the eraser came off. It's okay, I've got plenty of them. So we'll just get out a new one, stick it on there, and go to town. Doesn't look like it's taking off that much. In case you're wondering why I'm using this, I can't find my brush. I put it somewhere where I'd know where it was. I haven't seen it since. Taking a little bit off. You can see a little bit of dark there. Just take my finger and wipe it off, and it comes right off. This comic is not going to go in my collection. comic's going to... I ended up buying 2 of them because I bought 2 lots of adventure comics, and there was one of these in each one. And DB Stryker had previously asked me if I had one. So I told him I had some coming in because I had inadvertently bought 2 of them because I bought two lots of adventure comics and there was one in each. So told him I'd send him one. What I didn't tell him was that I was going to clean it up on video. And so that'll be a nice little surprise for him. What I'll do is I'll make grader's notes on it. Once I'm done with cleaning it, I'll make some grader's notes on it as to the condition and the date that the video airs. So kind of a future collectible when I get rich and infamous, or rich and famous, whichever happens to have, or poor and famous, or rich and infamous, whichever you prefer. That way, not only will he have a comic that's been cleaned by me, he can cite it as to the video. Will it be worth any more money than any other comic in this grade? Probably not. But it might be worth more to him. And that makes it worthwhile. This could take a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue cleaning this part of it with the eraser, and I'm going to turn it off. And when I go to the next step, I'll turn the camera back on. Well, I believe it's time for the next step, focusing. And we're going to get out some Absorine. I'll knead it up real good. And start going over it. I'm not going to do this for very long, just front and back cover a little while. But I have been known to sit there and watch a video and do this for an hour, 2 hours sometimes. But I've actually already done this. I forgot to turn the camera on. So this time as I'm going over it, it's just to show you that step that I did. And I didn't record. And fortunately, I hadn't moved on to the next step. Alright, that's good enough. Like I said, I've already done it. So we'll take one of my pads, just wipe it down, make sure that no residual absorbing is on there. Because the next step is a wet clean. So let me go get the rest of the materials I need and I'll be right back. And I'm back. But before we continue, let's take a look at these. This kind of draws you in, makes you want to kind of see what's going on. Obviously the bee is going to eat him. And this one, I guess he's hunting Pegasi, I don't know. But in the story they call them hawk horses. But if you want to know what happens, you got to read it. But I think this is my favorite, as is with everybody in the chat. Everybody that left comments seemed to like this one best, and so do I. So I got me a magazine backing board that I've used before for this. And put my glove on. Shake up the Immaculate a little bit and get me a clean pad. Got a little dirt off of it there. Once we do that, we let it dry. I'm not going to make you watch that part. I'll pick it up after it dries. Use another pad to go over it. And I think I'm going to go to the other side. We'll see what we can do about this back side. And it's definitely taken off a little bit of dirt there. Use the other side now. Get me another pad. let that air dry, and I'll be right back. Well, it's nice and dry, so we're going to go over it again. And time to let it dry again. And dry again. Now we're going to go over it with water. Take the soap off. And of course, let it dry. Okay. Pretty dry now. Dry enough. Go over it with this one more time. It's not really taking out all of the dirt that I wanted it to. There is one more step I could do, but I don't think I'm going to do that. So I don't really want to take the cover off the comic. But that would definitely get it cleaner. That's not too bad. I think it looks better than it did when I started. Of course, I'm just a tiny bit biased. I'm going to give it a press and see how it looks after that. And after it comes out of the press in about 3 or 4 hours, I'll show it to you, then I can finish the video. Well, it's in the press. You may have noticed that I never mentioned how I press a comic. And there's a reason for that. Because everybody that presses comics has their own way of doing it. Everybody has different ambient temperatures. Everybody has different humidities in their house. Some people steam a comic first, some people don't. I sometimes do, I sometimes don't. There are too many variables for me to show you how and say this is the right way, because there is no right way to press a comic. It all depends on the equipment that you have, ambient, like I said, the temperature, the humidity, the the materials you use when you press it. Do you use silicone pads? Do you use steel plates? Do you use aluminum plates? Everything makes a difference. So yeah, I could show you how I press a comic, but it probably wouldn't be right for you. And that's why I never show. I never show it, because it doesn't matter. Because the way I do it won't be the way you do it. And it's about 4 or 5 hours later, and I've got the adventure comic back out of the press. So let's see what it looks like. A lot of you are going to think, well, that's not that much different. And I agree, it really isn't. But let's go over the problems that we see right off the bat. There are a lot of stress creases along the spine. And one of them is over a half an inch. Well, this one's about a half inch. This one's over a half an inch. Probably close to 3/4. There's a small corner crease here and some blunting on each of the corners. In addition, there's a chip out of the back here. There's a slight tear on the spine here. And light staining over the whole back cover. I mean, I can remove that, but it involves taking the cover off. And I didn't really want to do that. That, and I'm out of distilled water. I used the last of it a little while ago. Pages are basically cream to off-white and have some, and the inside cover has some staining. But it is complete. And overall, it's not a bad looking copy. I'm going to give it a little bit better going over a little bit later, but just with what I've seen here right now, I would say good to very good. So there you go. Which is about what it was when I started out. So I didn't really improve it much, but I like the way it looks a little tiny bit better. So remember, before you handle your comics, before you try to clean them or do anything to them, make sure you wash your hands. It's good for your comics. It's good for your health. And we'll see you next video. Bye. DB will like it. What can he expect for free?